Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have got a new series for you. This is called the Versus series, if you have seen it by the thumbnail, where we are going to take a position in a team and have a look at two separate players who could fill a role in a team where there's a far more costly option available and you're looking for something different to use that maybe won't cost you as much money. For today's episode, we're going to be looking at that left back slot. Now, I got a question today which was about whether Prime Roberto Carlos is worth it or whether there's another card that could substitute in for him. And the two recommendations that I have come up with for that position substitute is Baby Roberto Carlos and Carlos Alberto. So we're going to go through those cards, their details, their stats, their traits, some of the clips that I got with them, and our summary and decision at the end about which you should use or if you should just go for that prime icon or the most expensive option in the general case. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So this is the team that I put the guys in. I used two separate players, and those players are, as a substitute for Prime Roberto Carlos, who recently came out in the Prime SBC, they are number 1, Baby Roberto Carlos, who will pop up somewhere on the screen, and mid-icon Carlos Alberto, the right back card, whether he can fit in at left back as well. We're going to go through both those cards and see how they both work in terms of playing as a left back and in general their defensive qualities and how suited they would be for switching this team up and saving yourself a little bit of coin. Without further ado, let's get into the basic description about Roberto Carlos. So guys, first of all, getting into Roberto Carlos's card here, and we are recording this for the third time because I am sometimes an idiot and I was looking at completely the wrong stat. So that is the reason that this might seem a little bit frustrating, is that I've looked at things wrongly 4 times on Footbin now, or 3 times on Footbin, and I've had to record this 3 times. But without further ado, let's get into it. 588k on the PlayStation, 550k on the Xbox, 685 on the PC. Getting into his face stats, pretty decent actually across the board. 92 pace, 94 acceleration, 91 sprint speed, a really standout stat for him there as well. Another key standout stat is his shot power, of course, really good at those shots, and his free kick accuracy. Set pieces on this card, guys, are really good. He's a fantastic card to use in terms of just his general play. His dribbling's pretty good as well, and I think that's because both the agility and the balance are high, really offset each other, especially being able to stop and go, stop and turn. Make that balance really does come into play, especially over the Carlos Alberto card. That is something that really does affect it in terms of that. The other thing, guys, to remember is that this card is slightly quicker and it has a very high acceleration, so if you're not looking to get beaten by an attacker as much, then this is something to really consider. In terms of getting into the info, guys, Roberto Carlos has 3-star skill moves and 2-star weak foot, so he really is a left back, a proper left-footed left back. I would not recommend playing him anywhere else. Left wing back, of course, as well, but not ideally could he fit in anywhere else in your defense to play as a centre back. Leading on from this fact, guys, is the fact that he is 5'6" tall. He is a very small defender, not really that tall in terms of getting the kick out to from the keeper to the fullback and winning the header and playing from there. He's much smaller, and I don't know if that makes him more maneuverable, but it certainly feels like he is super quick because of his height and the way he's able to move as well. In terms of attack, in terms of work rates as well, compared to the prime icon, his defensive work rate is medium and his attacking work rate is high, so he is constantly bombing up and down that wing, getting into the attacks and getting involved there as well. The thing that this could affect, guys, is his stamina. That is only 84. Now, overall, I think that stamina is okay. If you have him on stay back whilst attacking, then he can obviously cover the back 4 there a little bit better, especially with his pace as well, and conserve his stamina a bit as well. But guys, those attacking work rates, they're a blessing in disguise because of how good this card is going forward. You do want him to get forward, get involved in the attacks, make sure that you're overloading that left side with him so that you can create more chances, create more opportunities for your attackers and midfielders to get on the end of. In terms of chemistry styles, guys, I would be looking at boosting something like defending and physicality. Of course, the Sentinel always goes down nicely, helping that defending stat and physicality stat really jump up there in terms of his tackling, his defensive awareness, things like that as well. Or alternatively, you could look at something like a Powerhouse that would boost his passing and defending again as well. I would be looking at a combination of passing, dribbling, defending, and physicality. Anything that boosts those 4, with defending being the key focus, would be what I would recommend for this card. You could also alternatively, and this is a real different one because I've never suggested this before, but a gladiator might work very well on this card because If you give him a gladiator card, his finishing goes up to 88. Now with 88 finishing, all of a sudden you have a left back that really can strike the ball hard, 99 shooting, 86 long shots, 88 finishing. All of a sudden you've got a second card that if you bring him in off that left back slot, overload the left wing, you really have a player who can finish a lot of chances for you easily. Take advantage of the fact that you can overload your opponent's right hand side with this card and create good chances with him as well, and finish them 9 times out of 10 as well. So that's really a fantastic chemistry style for him as well. But guys, if I was to say which to focus on his defending, focus on a combination of passing, dribbling and physicality for the other part of this boost. Without further ado, let's get into Carlos Alberto's card. So guys, getting into Carlos Alberto's card here, 675 on the PlayStation, 637 on the Xbox and 835 on the PC. Guys, overall this card on the face of it has absolutely fantastic stats. 90 pace, 83 dribbling, 63 shooting, 87 defending, 80 passing, 84 physical, and that is spread across all his stats really nicely. It has great sprint speed and acceleration. However, one thing that I would definitely say is it is not as fast as Roberto Carlos. He feels a little bit slower, a little bit stiffer, especially on the ball, and I think that has to do with the fact that he only has 72 balance. It means that he's not able to turn as fast on the ball, not able to maneuver as quickly as you would like him to. Overall, guys, I think this card is really fantastic. Another key factor of this card, which you'll see in the clips as well, is the fact that his strength is so damn high. Like, he's really strong in terms of being a fullback, and that obviously benefits him in terms of being a left back as well. Wherever he plays in defense or in the fullback positions, his strength really does come to the fore there as well. His overall defending stats are pretty neat as well. In terms of cons, of course, that key one, the balance there, is the only one that really sticks out there like a sore thumb. The long passing is a little bit annoying, and so is the curve. The curve is a little bit annoying because you want to be able to play those passes down the line, and he's only got a 4-star weak foot, which we'll get into shortly. So here again, like I just said, we've got 4-star weak foot and 3-star skill move, so 1 better than Roberto Carlos in the categories there. Sorry, 2 better on the weak foot, which is a big factor. Guys, this Carlos Alberto can play anywhere across the defense because of that weak foot. Of course, his work rates are as well medium-high, so he does fit the fullback slot again. However, and his height is 5'11" as well, so you can win the headers off the goalkeeper kicks, or win headers just in general when you're playing against bigger attackers. You've got that strength to contend with them a little more as well. Overall, guys, I would say that the best chemistry style for this card, I would recommend boosting his pace actually. I don't feel like his pace is that high, or something that would boost his defending and dribbling, because the balance is really badly affecting how quickly this card can move. I feel like if he was a little bit quicker and lighter on his feet, it would really benefit this card in terms of maneuverability and making things easier for your fullback. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, keeping things simple and easy with the fullback so that they can provide the best attacking outlets and options so that you guys can get more fruitful attacks going. Overall, guys, which one would I suggest? I would be looking at something, you know what, an artist isn't actually a bad shout to boost dribbling and passing. Means defending's pretty decent for fullback. I maybe would even be tempted to leave that alone. There is of course the backbone as well to boost his passing and things like that too. Of course, Guardian might be the best one for him, boosting that dribbling, getting that balance up, getting that defending up as well, making him an elite defender in that regard. Without further ado, we're going to jump into some of Carlos Alberto's clips, and then I will jump in again to introduce Roberto Carlos's clips. So without further ado, let's get into the tape. So guys, I'm just going to go through some of Carlos Alberto's clips here, and what you're going to see, guys, is just a real variety of capability from this card. You'll see first of all defensive clips, and second of all attacking clips for this card, as well as passing on the first few clips as well. I didn't want to show you guys just a mix of clips this time. I wanted to show you guys really what this card was capable of, as well as Roberto Carlos, and how he can play. Now in a few games, guys, for some reason he had this weird positioning where he decided to move into the center of the field and play center back. I don't know why he did that. He was switching a lot with my center backs, but overall, even when he did shift there, he was more than capable of sorting out the defense, keeping it nice and tidy, and lovely play out of the back there as well. Again, here he's taking up the center back position, intercepts the ball really cleanly, and then again you can just play easy and out of that position there. Again, you can show them a little bit of space as well. You can give the defenders a little bit of space because he does have decent recovery speed. He's able to keep up with the quicker strikers, get a clean tackle in, make sure he wins the ball really cleanly. That's one of the biggest things about this card. In terms of overall movement as well, guys, he moves really smoothly. Maybe not the quickest out of the bunch, and despite his 90 pace, he does sometimes lack what I would say is just that little bit of edge on his speed to be able to do just a little bit more. But what he does have, being 5'11" and being such a big fullback, is he has this really large amount of power, and that's something that really is a factor in this card as well, because you come up against a lot of bigger, stronger wingers, especially if people are using Rashford, and people are using maybe Mbappe as well, as different versions of Mbappe. It's difficult to stop him at times, or Rashford as well. You'll see in maybe one or two of the clips that he does struggle for strength against these guys, but once he gets up with them, next to them, in front of them, there's no getting past them. And again, you can dribble out of these situations and create yourself a nice couple of chances there as well. Again here, covering the space. How about this for a recovery run? João Felix looks in. How's that for a tackle? Lovely slide tackle there. Great recovery run. In terms of pace, guys, I wouldn't say he's as quick as Roberto Carlos. There's a good tackle on Rashford there, by the way. I wouldn't say he's as quick as Roberto Carlos. But what this card does have is absolutely brilliant technical capability in every department. Again here, lovely cover on the line, getting rid of that ball quite easily. And it's the pace with which you're able to get back in, even despite the fact he's maybe not the quickest in the bunch. There again, good aggressive tackle, getting stuck in. Again here, closing down the man. You get caught up a little bit there, but it's fine. He will eventually win the ball out of that and get you a good tackle in there as well. Again here, lovely tackle here, just to steal the ball, take it away and play a nice calm pass out again to Sean Kleiber. And now we're going to get into some of his attacking, guys, and that is one of the first things, and that's the first clip I've shown you guys there, and that's important because it shows you that even with his left foot, he is capable of crossing the ball and creating good opportunities for your team. Again, his dribbling's not bad. You can use it. It's pretty decent. His agility's pretty good as well. His balance is a bit off, so sometimes he does get affected by that, but look at this powerful run right down the gap. Unfortunately, couldn't stick that one away in the back of the net. Again here, playing a couple of 1-2s, and how's that for a pass with his left foot? Remember, he's right-footed, and that's with his left foot he's played that ball. So it's a really fantastic pass there as well. Again here, a recovery run. We pick up the tackle there, and we get a nice foot in there to stop the run going through again. Again, driving down the line here, cutting in there, cutting back out again. And once you've got him there, that's the pace you need to get away from the man. Another decent ball in with his left foot. Not too bad. It's not the best in the world, but it definitely is workable, guys. And I think that's one of the things that's most amazing about this card, is what you can do with his left foot, despite the fact that it is, of course, his weak foot, and that he is so capable of playing in that left back slot. It's really nice to have a card that can do that. Loses the ball there, unfortunately, but again, clean tackle straight back in there again as well. How's that for a switch with the left foot? Beautiful passing as well. Able to do a whole bunch of things with his left foot. Again here, driving around the man, good strength, hold him off. Again, going for that run around the man again, getting inside the box. A little turn there, unfortunately, doesn't come off. That's something that's really important, guys. And I know I just showed you an own goal, but actually he's very good on headers. He's very strong in the air, very good in the air. He's a bit small, so it doesn't always win them, but he is very good in the air, and that's something that's a real positive in terms of being able to use this card. In this final clip here, guys, you're just going to see Carlos Alberto from start to finish. Wins the ball there, drives out quickly, gets forward. Lovely little turn there. Again, waiting for the man, playing a nice little ball, and he goes again. Look at that run down there. He's making the run, gets a lovely run into the box here. Now we're just looking to create the opportunity. He gets past that man, good strength, and a lovely little goal there. So guys, now that we've gone through Carlos Alberto's clips, let's get into some of Roberto Carlos's clips. So guys, getting into some of Roberto Carlos's clips here, and again, what you're going to see mostly in these clips is his amazing dribbling. Now, although Carlos Alberto does seem to have better face stats in terms of dribbling, Roberto Carlos's dribbling is so quick and so tight that it makes it very difficult to stop him when he's running. Again here, lovely little defensive play there, holding off the man, keeping the ball nice and tight there. Again here, lovely recovery run, and that's mainly where I use this card. It wasn't so much to get tackles in on people and to stop the attacks building up like that. It was mainly to get in front of the man, break up the attack, and he uses that pace because, of course, he doesn't have the size element. Again here, this clip here, guys, I just wanted to show you the fight that he has in winning the ball back twice there. Unfortunately, we don't get the cross and it does get blocked, but that was a couple of times he won the ball back there. Again, we overcommit there, lose the chance, but he somehow comes back, takes that ball off his man, and we can get playing again down the line there. Again, in this next clip, we allow them to have a little bit of space because Carlos has just got such good pace. He can recover very quickly. He is quicker than Carlos Alberto, which means that you can allow them a little more freedom and he will just accelerate and catch them again. Again, this was off a corner. Look at this recovery run on Marcus Rashford. Absolutely easy for him to do so, and then just taking him on again and playing that down the line again. Lovely tackle and block in there in the same one. Lovely little play there from him. Again here, allowing the winger a bit of space, getting into the tackle, good aggression level, good strength level, and then driving out of the defense as well, looking for a ball. And how's that for a ping off his left foot? Guys, I would not recommend using his right foot though. His right foot is incredibly poor. He really cannot use it, but look at this left foot dribbling. I mean, he's so quick in moving with the ball. Again, we lose the ball there, poor pass. He wins it back straight away. Good aggression, good into the tackle there. Again, stopping the play before it even gets to the next level, getting in front of the man, making sure that we retrieve the ball. Now we're going to get into some of what he can do attacking wise as well once we finish up these defensive clips. And guys, what you're going to see for the most part again is what you've been seeing all of these clips along is his dribbling. Such tight dribbling. One thing, guys, that is a real benefit of this card over Carlos Alberto is his free kicks. His free kicks are phenomenal. His crossing is quite good. I mean, there you can see a lovely cross he picked out there. But his free kicks and corners are very good. You're able to put him on set pieces. And because he has such quick recovery runs, it doesn't matter if you have him up the pitch then, because he's able to literally sprint back and catch anyone. I mean, you guys saw that clip as well where he caught up with Marcus Rashford. Again here, turning the man, lovely dribbling there. Unfortunately, with the finesse shot, not able to stick it away. He does only have 80 shooting, so it isn't like it's so overpowered in this department that you can just overuse it. Again, look at that ball with the left foot. It's a sensational ball again. Unfortunately, we don't do anything with it there. Again, driving past the fullback here, getting into a dangerous position. A lovely ball towards the edge of the box. Gravenberch takes it down, and unlucky with the finish there as well. But overall, guys, this card is just a lot more fun. I don't know if I would say it's more meta. I would say because the dribbling is much tighter on this card, I would be tempted to say yes, and he's a bit more pacey. But Carlos Alberto is a better defender than this card. This card is more fun for attacking, getting down the wing, and using him in that sense. I genuinely think that if you're looking for a player who can defend better, then you're looking at Carlos Alberto here. But it's not to say Roberto Carlos cannot defend, and that means that if you are able to defend with a player like him, then what you get here is essentially another left winger to use in your team. And look at this again, recovery run, this is what he's all about. Recovery run, win the ball back, take a shot there, how's that for a goal? So guys, we are going to get into the final check here, and we're going to tell you guys who the best player is out of these three, in my opinion, to choose between. It really depends on where you want this defender to play and how you want him to play. First of all, let's get through the stats and the traits and things like that, and then we'll go into some of that. So as you guys can see here, the Prime Roberto Carlos, which is the card in question, we're going to remove him. You can see though, just for the beginning, 2472 in-game stats compared to 2363, so not that much difference between the baby Roberto Carlos and the Prime. And Carlos Alberto 2266, so a big difference between that and the Prime Roberto Carlos, and a little bit of a difference, less than 100 between that and the baby Roberto Carlos. So that's something to bear in mind as well, that although on the face of the card Carlos Alberto looks better by a country mile, might I add, there isn't that much between these cards, and if anything, Roberto Carlos has the advantage in a lot of areas that maybe help with an attacking sense as well. So we're going to remove Prime Roberto Carlos from this comparison, and we're going to go through these two cards now. As you guys can see, Roberto Carlos wins in the pace department, and that was something that's really noticeable. Carlos Alberto is quick, don't get me wrong, he is very quick as a card, but in terms of being the quicker of the two, Roberto Carlos smashes this out the park. He is so fast in terms of just moving and getting into spaces and recovery runs and everything like that. It's a phenomenal card to use for that kind of stuff. So if you're looking not to get outpaced, then that is definitely a factor that will play into this. In terms of shooting as well, Roberto Carlos is a lot better, especially with the long shots and the shot power. You'll get a lot better of an effort out of him than you will Carlos Alberto. What that means as well though, guys, is that you've essentially got another outlet for your attack. If you overload on the left side and he's coming in to try and finish a chance, you've got a good chance of putting it away. He's got a good ping on him. 73 finishing is not great, but he will stick some of them away. That's what's important, is that you don't want him to produce every time, but when you need him to, he might well just pull something out for you as well. In terms of passing, there isn't that much difference between them, and the key one here, especially from a fullback perspective, is crossing. Crossing is not that much between them. 83 for Carlos Alberto, 81 for Roberto Carlos. 90 free kick accuracy though, which is a real big one, and 77 long passing. Now Roberto Carlos has 80 short passing, Carlos Alberto has 88. Now That would make a difference to me if Carlos Alberto was playing in centre-back, because in that situation you need short passes to get in and out of tight spaces with your defensive midfielders, with your fullbacks, to ensure that you're not losing the ball in a stupid way. The curve also has a big impact for me, because when you're playing balls down the line, you want to be able to whip them around so your winger can get in on those and try and attack the box a little better. So for me, actually, in this category, although Carlos Alberto looks the better card overall, Roberto Carlos wins this argument for me. I'm going to get rid of that ad, guys, and I'll be right back. And we're back, guys, and now we go into the dribbling category, and here again you'll see Carlos Alberto wins on most categories, but it is not by that much. Now the big one here that is a big difference is the composure. I don't know how that affects Roberto Carlos defensively, but certainly when they're defending, Carlos Alberto was more assured in the tackles, more certain in the tackles, more aggressive in the tackles, able to win them more cleanly. I don't know if composure plays into that at all. It's something that is a big factor for me as well. Agility-wise, balance-wise, Roberto Carlos smashes Carlos Alberto, and that's something that is really good for me as well, is that he moves so quickly, he's able to turn on a dime, things like that, much easier than Carlos Alberto was. However, in the rest of the categories, Carlos Alberto does marginally edge him out. I would say if you keep things simple with your fullback, then Carlos Alberto is able to do a job for you here. But if you do like to be a bit more complex with your dribbling, just bear in mind, although he is only 2-star skill moves, Roberto Carlos's dribbling is a lot more tight, more capable of doing better things with him in the fullback slot as well. Next, we get into what should be one of the key categories of a fullback, which is their defending stats. Carlos Alberto's face rating 87, Roberto Carlos 81. The big difference comes in defensive awareness, heading accuracy. In terms of the tackling element, there isn't a big difference again, or the interceptions. And that's a key thing for me, guys, is that you're not going to be kicking it out from the goalkeeper to Roberto Carlos. He's 5'6", you're not going to use that. Carlos Alberto is 5'11", so you can actually use him to win headers as well. Whereas Roberto Carlos is 5'6", I wouldn't be trying to kick it out with the keeper to him anyway. In terms of defensive awareness, I think this is where Roberto Carlos's work rates get messed up, because he is medium-high, as is Carlos Alberto. But as you saw from the clips, Roberto Carlos plays extremely aggressively. He's always on the move down that left wing, and I think it's because of that defensive awareness that Carlos Alberto stays back more, protects the back four more, and for me is actually a better defender overall. So for that reason, I would give the edge to Carlos Alberto in this category ever so slightly. Finally, getting into the physicality element, and this is where Carlos Alberto does have a little bit of an edge again. His strength is a lot higher, and you saw it in some of the clips. He bustles past tackles, and he is reasonable size as well, which means it's a little bit easier for him to get past people. Jumping is the same, stamina is relatively similar, and aggression is relatively similar too. Both are quite aggressive, despite the fact that the card doesn't suggest so. They're very good in the tackle, very strong in the tackle, and that's something that's really important as well. Now, if we just get into some of the information as well, again, just so you guys can have another look over this. 4 stars weak foot for Carlos Alberto, 2-star for Roberto Carlos. That is massive, because it means that Roberto Carlos is a left-footed left back. Carlos Alberto is almost a 2-footed defender, and that's huge. Guys, I would say overall, given how these guys play, they play very differently, and they could play in very different roles. In fact, they could play in the same team because they play so differently as well. We'll get further into these traits as well. Power free kick for Roberto Carlos and flair for Carlos Alberto. So not too many traits to shout home about again as well. Nothing really that is that spectacular either. Of course, in terms of price, you have almost a 100k difference between the two. So Roberto Carlos is a little bit cheaper than Carlos Alberto. And I think it is because of that defensive capability that he is. This Roberto Carlos card is absolutely fantastic regardless though. So it comes to crunch time about who I would recommend that you guys pick out of these two. Now, for me, I prefer a fullback to be able to defend first. A defender should always be able to defend first, and for me that's the most important thing. Now guys, I'm not suggesting you go and put him in at left back straight away and lose chemistry points. You put him at right back and switch him about so that you can use him in that way. But what I would say is that if you are going to use him at left back as opposed to the prime Roberto Carlos, it's definitely worth downgrading to either of these two, just because you'll save yourself so many coins and you'll get almost the same value out of the player that you would normally. So in terms of who I would recommend, it really depends on your playstyle. For me personally, I think a defender should be able to defend first, should be physical, should be aggressive. So I would pick Carlos Alberto purely on that basis. However, I would say that if you are a more attacking player, like your fullback, to get up and down that wing, create chances and be able to finish chances better as well, crossing fine and defending to a good level, not an excellent level, but a very, very good level, then Roberto Carlos is the winner. Now, I know I haven't picked one there, which means I'm going to pick one right now. And the winner of this challenge for me, purely down to the pace element and the fact that his defensive acumen isn't that far off Carlos Alberto, is going to be the baby Roberto Carlos. I think this is the card that you guys should pick out of the two of them. I feel like he is the best card out of the two of them overall, given what he can do, how different he is to the Prime version, and how much of a difference there is between the two of them. Because actually, when you look at it, the total in-game stats for Roberto Carlos are higher, and in the stat categories where he's lacking a little bit, I would say that he more than makes up for it by the fact that he's only 1 or 2 points off in each of the major categories, and gives you the added benefit of extra pace, extra shooting, and just a great wand of a left foot. You're able to use him on set pieces and free kicks and things like that as well. I hope you guys did enjoy the first episode of the Versus series. Please do let me know who you would like me to do next. It would be nice to keep doing this, so if you give me a position, give me 2 players, and I will give you the best opinion I can on both of those players. That would be absolutely fantastic, guys. And without further ado, I will see you all in the next video in a bit.